The freezing rain started at 4 in the afternoon, tapping against the windows with increasing urgency. By 6, when my sister Victoria told us to leave, the temperature had dropped to 34 degrees, and the rain was turning to sleet that made a crackling sound against the glass. My son Ethan stood in the hallway of Victoria's large colonial home, his backpack already on because he'd heard the argument escalating and knew what was coming, tears streaming down his 6-year-old face. "Get out," Victoria said, not for the first time that evening. Her voice had that edge to it, the one that meant the decision was final and arguing would only make things worse. "Right now, I'm done with you freeloading off my family, done pretending this arrangement works." I've been living in her guest room for 6 weeks. 6 weeks since I lost my marketing job due to company downsizing, since I had exhausted the savings I carefully built up, since I swallowed every bit of pride I had left and asked my older sister for temporary help while I got back on my feet. She'd said yes initially. Her husband had reluctantly agreed, making it clear this was charity and I should be grateful. But the resentment had built daily, brick by brick, comment by comment. "Victoria, it's freezing outside. Can we please wait until morning? I'll call some apartments tomorrow, I promise. You've had 6 weeks to figure this out. You're useless. Both of you are just burdens on people who actually work hard and succeed. I'm tired of carrying you. I've been applying to jobs every day. I have 2 interviews next week. Too late. My kids are complaining about sharing their space. My husband is tired of feeding extra mouths. You need to learn to support yourselves." She walked to the coat closet and pulled out our winter jackets, throwing them at us. "Go, now." I had $783 in my bank account. Everything else was gone, spent on survival during the months of unemployment, on keeping Ethan fed and in school, on medical bills from when he had strep throat. "Where are we supposed to go?" "Not my problem. That's the point. You made your choices, now live with them." Her husband appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. "Victoria's right. We've been more than generous. Time for you to stand on your own." I started packing while Ethan cried. Everything we owned fit into 2 suitcases and 2 backpacks. Clothes mostly, a few of Ethan's toys, the framed photo of my late husband that I'd carry through every move. Victoria watched from the kitchen, drinking wine, occasionally laughing with her husband about something on their phones. When I dragged our suitcases to the front door, she didn't help or even offer to drive us somewhere. "Learn something from this," she called as I guided Ethan out into the freezing rain. "Success requires effort, not handouts." The door slammed behind us. I got Ethan into the car, our old Honda with the temperamental heater. He was shivering, still crying. I turned the heat up as high as it would go. "Where are we going, Mama?" "Somewhere safe. Somewhere warm, I promise." I drove to the extended stay America off the highway, $45 a night. I could afford 2 weeks, maybe 3 if I was careful. After that, I'd figure something out. I always did. The room was small and smelled like old cigarettes, but it was warm. Ethan fell asleep quickly, exhausted from crying. I sat on the edge of the other bed and tried to make a plan. Job interviews next week. If I got hired, I'd need first and last month's rent for an apartment, a security deposit, furniture. Everything cost money I didn't have. The calculation was impossible, the math didn't work, but I'd make it work somehow, for Ethan. I found a retail job 3 days later, $12 an hour at a home goods store, 50 hours a week. $600 minus taxes, $315 a week for the motel room, $200 for food and gas. I was barely breaking even, couldn't save anything, but we were surviving. Ethan went to his elementary school from the motel. I'd wake him at 6, pack his lunch, drop him off before my 7 a.m. shift, pick him up after school, and bring him to the break room at work while I finish my closing duties. We get back to the motel room at 8, do homework, sleep. Party came and went. I bought him gifts from the thrift store, a used bicycle, 3 sizes too small, but it was all they had, some books, a stuffed dinosaur. He hugged me and said they were perfect. "Is Aunt Victoria going to see us for?" he asked. "No, honey, not this year." "Why not?" "Because sometimes families need space from each other." The truth was more complicated. Victoria had sent one text message after we left. "Hope you learned your lesson about responsibility." I deleted her number after that. On December 17th, the day before Victoria kicked us out, I'd stopped at the Quick Mart near her house to buy milk for Ethan's cereal. I spent my last $2 on a Mega Millions ticket. Just a stupid impulse. False hope in a desperate moment. I'd forgotten about it completely. Late February, nearly 3 months after we'd left Victoria's house, I heard the news while getting ready for work. Unclaimed winning lottery ticket sold in Riverside area. Jackpot $87 million. Ticket about to expire. I froze, coffee cup halfway to my mouth. Riverside. That was Victoria's neighborhood. December 17th. The date matched. I dug through my coat pockets frantically and found the crumpled ticket wedged into the lining. My hands shook as I pulled up the winning numbers on my phone. I compared them to the ticket, checked again and again. They matched, every single number. I drove to the Quick Mart and asked the clerk to scan the ticket. He looked at the screen, looked at me, looked back at the screen. "Ma'am, you need to contact the State Lottery Commission immediately." "Why? What does it say?" "This is a jackpot winner. $87 million. I stood in the parking lot for 10 minutes, unable to move. Unable to process. $87 million. It wasn't real. Couldn't be real. But I called the number anyway. The Lottery Commission verified the ticket and explained my options. I could take the annuity, $87 million paid over 30 years, or the lump sum, $45 million immediately, before taxes. I took the lump sum. After federal and state taxes, I'd net approximately $30 million. $30 million. The lawyer I hired advised me carefully. Set up a trust for your son. Invest conservatively. Don't tell anyone until you're ready. And understand, once you claim publicly, your life changes. I have to claim publicly. State law requires it. Press conference. Photos. It's part of claiming the prize. The press conference was scheduled for 3 weeks later. I bought a simple dress for $30, did my own hair, and brought Ethan with me because I couldn't afford a babysitter. The Lottery Commission building was crowded with reporters, cameras. The giant ceremonial check was larger than my car, $87 million printed in huge numbers. "Ms. Turner, congratulations," the lottery director said, shaking my hand. "Tell us, what are your plans for the money?" I looked at Ethan, holding my hand tight, overwhelmed by all the cameras. Security for my son, his education, never worrying about being cold again, never worrying about someone kicking us out in freezing rain with nowhere to go. A reporter jumped on that. "What do you mean, kicked out?" I took a breath. 3 months ago, my sister evicted my son and me from her home in the middle of winter. She called us useless freeloaders, told us we were burdens who needed to learn to support ourselves. We've been living in a motel ever since, and I've been working retail to keep us fed. The room went very quiet. This money means my son never has to be scared like that again. Never has to watch his mother beg for help that comes with humiliation. That's what it means. The story aired on every local news channel that night, then regional, then it went national. Single mother evicted by sister wins $87 million lottery. The human interest angle was irresistible. The sister who kicked out a struggling single mom. The lottery ticket bought 1 day before the eviction. The 3 months of minimum wage survival. The sudden fortune. My phone, which had already changed after winning, stayed quiet, but my lawyer's office received calls. "Ms. Turner's sister is trying to reach her," his assistant told me. "What does she want?" "She says it's urgent family business. Tell her I'm not available." Victoria left 17 voicemails on my old number before she realized I'd changed it. The lawyer's assistant transcribed them for me. Message 1. "Laura, it's Victoria. I saw the news. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. We need to talk, call me back." Message 5. "Laura, come on. We're family. I know we had a rough patch, but family is forever, right? Call me." Message 10. "You're being ridiculous. I helped you when you needed it. You owe me a conversation at least." Message 15. "This isn't fair. You won right after leaving my house. I contributed to your success somehow. You should share." The messages grew increasingly desperate, then angry, then pleading again. Victoria showed up at the lawyer's office. Security turned her away. She contacted a local reporter, trying to tell her side. "My sister won the lottery and now she won't speak to her family. It's hurtful. I helped her when she was struggling, gave her a place to stay, and now she's shut me out completely." But the reporter dug deeper, talking to neighbors on Victoria's street. "I saw them leave that night," one woman said on camera. "The little boy was crying. It was raining and so cold. I felt terrible for them." The Quick Mart owner was interviewed too. She bought that ticket the day before her sister kicked her out. I remember because she was counting change to buy milk for her kid. Public opinion crystallized quickly. Victoria wasn't the helpful sister being abandoned. She was the cruel woman who had kicked out her struggling family member right before that person won a fortune. Greedy sister demands money after evicting lottery winner ran on tabloid websites. Comment sections were brutal. I bought a house, not a mansion, just a 3-bedroom ranch in a good school district, 30 minutes from Victoria's neighborhood. It cost me $385,000. Modest by lottery winner standards. I set up a $2 million trust for Ethan's education, invested $15 million conservatively, and donated $1 million to homeless shelters and family crisis centers. I still worked part-time at a nonprofit helping struggling families, $40,000 a year. I didn't need the money, but I needed the purpose. Victoria's attempts at contact continued for months. She showed up at Ethan's new school once. Security removed her, and I filed a restraining order. Letters came through extended family members. Our aunt tried to mediate. Victoria made a mistake, but she's still your sister. Family forgives. I wrote back once, the only response I sent. Victoria made clear that I was a burden. I'm removing that burden permanently. My cousin called. You're being cruel. She's struggling now. Her business is losing clients because of the bad publicity. Her husband is angry. He says they could have had access to your money if she'd just been patient. Her marriage is falling apart. I'm sorry to hear that. You could help her. I could. I won't. That's cold. What's cold is laughing while you kick a 6-year-old into freezing rain. 3 years after the win, Victoria sent a letter directly to my house. The restraining order had expired. Laura, I was wrong. I was cruel when you needed help. I'm sorry. I've had time to think about what I did, and I'm ashamed. Can we talk? Not about money, about family. I read it and showed it to Ethan, now 9 years old. That's from Aunt Victoria? Yes. She's the one who made us leave her house when it was cold, right? Yes. Does she want something? She says she wants to apologize. Do you believe her? I looked at my son, this wise child who learned too young that family could be cruel. I don't know, but I know we don't need her. We're okay without her. Then why would we let her back? Exactly. I put the letter in a drawer and never responded. 5 years after winning, Ethan and I volunteered every Saturday at the homeless shelter. We served meals, sorted donations, and talked to families who reminded me of us in that extended stay motel room. A woman recognized me one week. You're the lottery winner. I read about you. I'm a mother who got lucky. Are you still in touch with your sister, the one who kicked you out? No. Good. You don't owe cruel people anything, even if they're blood. Victoria still lived in the same house, in the same town. I heard updates occasionally through relatives. Her business had recovered somewhat. Her marriage survived. Her kids were in college. She'd become a cautionary tale in certain circles, the woman who evicted her sister right before that sister won $87 million, the epitome of bad timing and worse judgment. I didn't feel vindicated, didn't feel triumphant. I just felt resolved. Because the money wasn't the point, not really. The point was that Victoria had kicked us out into freezing rain and laughed while doing it, had called my son a burden, had valued her own convenience over our basic safety. The lottery win just meant I never had to seek her help again, never had to accept her cruelty in exchange for survival, never had to teach my son that family love comes with conditions and humiliation. Ethan and I were fine, better than fine, and Victoria remained exactly where I'd left her that December night, standing in her doorway, watching us leave. The only difference was now she knew exactly what she'd thrown away, and I knew exactly what I'd escaped.